Alright, alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, so now there are a number of guidelines when it comes to clothing and images on clothing. Number one, if it is a full image with eyes, like Lacoste, then it's not permissible. Because that's an alligator, or crocodile, whatever it is, with eyes and a tongue and a head, and it's just clear. Things like Puma and Polo, Ralph Lauren, and things like that, then the scholars have differed because there's no facial features, so they have said, yeah, that's okay. Others have said, no, even if you've got silhouette, it's still a surah, it's still an image, and it's not allowed. And for me, I think that's stronger. However, it's a balance between garments that you've had given to you and they're expensive and they're good quality, and wearing these images. So now I'm just saying, like, if you've got a garment and you've already bought it and, you know, it's not obviously haram because there aren't any facial features to it, inshallah you can keep it. But if it is something which is outright haram, like my position on Nike, then you can't keep it, even if it's expensive. And the evidence for that is the Messenger of Allah ﷺ had a gold ring, right? Gold, 50, 60 pounds a gram. He, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he took it and he threw it away. And he did this, and the companions did this as well. So it was permissible for him to do it. I'm sure you've seen this hadith before. And he was sitting on his minbar, he took it off, and he said, this is not permissible لِذُكُورِ أُمَّتِي, for the males of my ummah. And then he threw it. So this is now evidence to say that gold at that time, I mean, it's precious. The Messenger of Allah didn't have a life of luxury. But this was something which is expensive, but it was haram for him to wear, so he got rid of it. So that's the first thing. If it is haram, even if it's expensive and it's clearly haram, then you have to get rid of it. But if it isn't clearly haram, then inshallah there's no harm in a person holding on to it. The second thing that we need to pay attention to are meanings of words. So like Nike, for example, right? I know I keep going back to Nike, but just Nike, for example, if a person was to read that, they would just think it's just Nike, it's just the name of a company. But the meaning behind it is something which is haram. So if that is there, then it's not allowed. The third sort of condition that they've said also, the scholars, is that you can't have ta'zeem lil-kuffar or fusaq and things like that. So now if you know that there's a person who's immoral, he's got really bad views, bad aqidah, a lot of these have bad thoughts about Islam and bad stances towards Islam, and then they're wearing their names all over their garments, this is not allowed. It's not allowed. I think it makes sense, and it's quite clear, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even tells us in the Quran, وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ, do not cooperate with one another when it comes to sin and transgression. That's what comes to mind when it comes to images and logos on garments. You have to check to see if it's an actual image itself, you have to check the meaning, and if it's associating or imitating people who we shouldn't be associating and imitating. Hope this helps. Barakallahu feek. Assalamu alaikum.